Hello and welcome back to the Null Electronics podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in again with me. It's so nice to have your company. Even though right now, as you're listening to this, I don't actually get to experience being with you and sort of watching you and sort of watch the micro expressions on your face as I say this and that, and you sort of think, oh gee, this guy's, he's something else. I really like him. So what I will do is right now, as I'm recording it, I'm going to sit here and sort of think about the many people listening to it and see if that gives me any sort of extra sense of, I don't know, community or, I don't know, feeling appreciated. Let me just check in with myself here. Nope, no, still just as dark and black and bleak as any other second of any other day, so... But that's all right. Last time I did one of these podcasts, someone went to the link in my bio of either my Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, and they quote unquote bought me a coffee, which is something you can do. You can go to my buy me a coffee link and you can drop a bit of cash in there and buy my proverbial next coffee. So that was really lovely. Thank you to that person, and thank you to the next person that does it. That kind of is a little bit like me sitting with you on the tram as you're listening to this podcast, and I see that it's not even a micro expression. You are full out grinning ear to ear. You're thinking, this is the best thing I've ever listened to. This week I have an amazing guest. I've got one of Australia's best producers, a producer who produces for many artists. Her name is Lucy Blomkamp. She's produced for some of your favourites. You've got Black, you've got Cat and Calmell, you've got Becca Hatch, Daine, 111, Mallrat, and many, many more. Not to mention releasing music under her own name, Lucy Blomkamp, and with her project Cookii, her hyper pop project Cookii, and more recently under the pseudonym Perfectworld. It was an absolute pleasure to talk with Lucy about all of her work across pop electronic music, what it's like being a highly in-demand local producer. We also talked on how we first met way back at the start of her career when she was primarily releasing music under her own name and trying to get into the music industry. That is the very beginning of her very long, storied and interesting tenure as a music producer in the Australian music industry. It was lovely to catch up with Lucy after all these years and hear wonderful stories and learn a little bit too, I think. So we'll have that chat for you in just a moment. Before we get to it, I'd also like to plug my own song. I have a song coming out around about now, probably about the time that this podcast gets posted. You'll be able to go and check out my new song. Search for Null in your streaming service of choice. The new song is called something like, look, I can't even fucking remember. It's called like My Eyes Will Burn Through You. That sounds about right. So go look that up and give it a listen. And if it's your cup of tea, great. If it's not, I don't want to hear from you. And so, with all of that business out of the way, please enjoy my chat with the inimitable... Is that right? I'm just going to quickly Google inimitable. Is that a good thing? Something impossible to copy or imitate. Yeah, I feel like Lucy's work is inimitable. I like to say that word, inimitable. Please enjoy my chat with the inimitable Lucy Blomkamp. Okay. I'm here with Lucy Blomkamp. Lucy, long-time acquaintance, I'm going to say, or old-time acquaintance, producer extraordinaire. You've worked on some amazing records over the last 10 years, maybe. I'm so stoked to have you here on my little podcast. Thank you so much for coming.
No, absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on. It is a
Wow.
real treat.
Good. That's what I want to hear. Lucy, I want to take the listener back in time a little bit to when you and I first met. I don't know if you even remember this, but
I think I do.
Cool. Okay. So back in like 2013, around about then, I think, you were getting booked for a lot of small shows around the Melbourne sort of electronic scene. And so I think I caught you at a couple of those, and I think some mutual friends were really, really big upping, if that's a phrase, your music back at the time. And I just remember being absolutely floored by your performance and your music back then. What was the scene like back then? Do you remember sort of your early shows? Were those your early shows, or was it just new to me back in 2013?
No, that was literally like, because I remember the first shows I ever did were the Spacewalk shows. And
That's
I think, and I think it's so funny because in the very, very first few shows I did for that, it was like just kind of like DJing as well. Like I had like a SoundCloud page with like 20 followers or something. And I don't know how the fuck I got like the gig or whatever. So I didn't even have enough songs to like be playing all my old stuff, but enough that I got more shows, I guess. But yeah, that was a great
time. So they
time.
approached you?
Yeah, it was May.
Yeah.
I would be so curious to know what she's doing nowadays. But yeah.
Same.
And yeah, that's where, and through that I met you and like Nick and like the Rah Rah guys, and like it was such a place and time. But yeah, this must have been like 2013 or something like that.
That sounds about right. And shortly after, there was a lot of underground hype, I would call it, around your debut album. I don't know if you refer to it as an album. It's maybe, is it 9 tracks or is it a 10-track?
I think I was just so desperate to have an album that I was just like, yeah, fuck it, 9 tracks, we'll do it.
Hell yeah. And that's called Post Nature. I implore anyone listening right now to go back and listen to Post Nature. And I remember all of my friends, small community of 5 people I knew. Mm-hmm. We all heard it. It was being circulated, under a private SoundCloud link. And I remember people were so excited about it. And I've always wondered what that felt like for you. Did you get sort of like, Did you hear that people in the industry were maybe hearing this EP or this album and enjoying it, or?
No, not at all.
Really?
I think it was
felt like everyone was talking about it.
That's so weird. I think it's like maybe nowadays I would have more of a sense of that, but I guess I like had no idea what to expect from putting out anything back then. I was just trying to like make a go of it. So I was just sort of like spamming everyone I knew. And like this was back in the days where like blogs actually really had some like sense of relevancy. So like I would just like spam every like music journalist or whatever, like even before it was out, just be like, hey, I got this thing. Can you listen to it just because? But yeah, and like I guess through me being an absolute pest, I like met my like managers that like I am still with today, and like I guess how you found it and stuff. So I guess I don't know, but like I didn't really think anything of it at the time. It was just like I don't know. I had no expectations.
Right. I think we were all just, being my friendship group and the people I knew in the industry was just so blown away by how professional it sounded for one, and then also how I listened to it again today for the first time in probably like 8 years, and I was like, oh fuck, it brought back a lot of memories. It's just so beautifully put together and restrained in a lot of places, and I think a lot of people were just like, whoa, who is this person? And where did this come from? Like, did you spend a long time on these tracks?
Fuck no.
Really?
Fuck no. I spent 0 time on it. It's funny because it's like, I kind of made it as like a panic response to like dropping out of uni. I had like just finished high school, and like I had gone to uni to do like music industry at RMIT. Terrible choice. It was like the dumbest thing in my life. But I like just had no idea what I wanted to do with my life at all. And the only thing I sort of cared about was like producing stuff. So it was like, I've got to do something while I can. So I actually put like...
How old are you at this point?
18?
God, my life's running out. I've got to do something quick.
I know. Well, it's like, I got to get like a job or something. Sure. I got to choose some sort of trajectory in some vague sense.
Totally.
Yeah, but that is very funny to think about now. But it was just like, I need to do something as quickly as I can. And I think I probably spent about as much time on that album as I would now on like a song.
For real?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't think I was restricted by like production stuff back then. So it was just like, oh, it sounds like it's a cool idea. Let's do it.
Yeah. What do you mean restricted by production stuff? How do you mean?
Like, I think nowadays there's so much more like expectation of like, because I guess most of what I do is for other people, where it's like the production's got to be like top notch or whatever. Whereas then I didn't even know what like a well-produced song was. I just kind of thought it was as good as the ideas in it. So it's just like, that's kind of the essence of what I'm going for. Let's put it out after a day of working on it.
It's so interesting because you can't hear that at all. It sounds just as polished as the stuff that you're producing today. Do you see that differently?
Yeah, but I guess this is like one of those weird common occurrences with like artists and producers and stuff where like they don't, like there's a charm to them not knowing what they're doing at the start. But yeah, I think I listen to it now and I'm like, this sounds like garbage.
Really?
Like, this sounds like fucking trash. But
I won't lie. Like, when I put it on, I was like, let's see if this is as good as I remember. But it was.
I think it's like I can't separate it now from like the production mistakes and stuff.
Sure.
It's like, I think at that stage I was like so oblivious and naive to like how to do things where like I remember if like a bass wasn't hitting hard enough, I just like duplicate the track or something. And it's just like two of them, like just complete nonsense like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, but I guess it maybe unintentionally created some neat effects.
You need to try that on your next piece that you're working on for someone, I think.
Totally, just like duplicate the whole project. Just have like everything going twice. Yeah.
It's bigger now.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was listening to, look, I'll plead ignorance on this. One of your biggest clients is Six Black. Is that how you say this rapper slash singer-songwriter's name?
It's so funny because he's like got that on like shirts and stuff that it's like, it's pronounced Black. It's just Black.
Oh, okay. There we go. It's Black. But the B is a 6 for listeners who already knew that and are screaming at their iPhones saying, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Okay. So you produced a lot of tracks for Black.
Yes.
Off his first record and then a few pieces here and there afterwards. Is that right?
Yeah. It was like, there was one song on the first album and like 2 bonus tracks. Then there were like a couple songs in between, and then there were 2 other songs on his second album.
I was listening to Bless Me, which sort of shocked me because it is a reworking of the opening track, I think, from Post Nature. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I forgot to even mention that one. But yeah, I think that's probably definitely the best and biggest thing that ever came from Post Nature, or maybe even my solo project, just in terms of like, I think there's so few things that I release as an artist that I can look back on and kind of feel proud about. But like, I think that trajectory and them using me in that sample and like getting to work with them all is just like, it feels like the whole project was kind of worth it just for that, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
I do. Yeah, totally. How did that connection come about? Was it off the back of, I just want to keep saying Six Black. I mean, you got to understand, I've been saying that in my head for years whenever I see Six Black.
Yeah, no. I think I get that all the time as well, where people are like, oh, you work with Six Black. I'm like, love that guy. Yeah. That came about through Black's like executive producer for like most of his discography is this guy called Trevor, who had been a fan of mine since like Post Nature, since like the very early days. He was like a real like day oneer, and he was the one who chose to sample me and bless me in EA6. And it's funny, like I first started speaking to him when like the album was coming out and like, you know, like lawyers and whatnot getting involved, like clearing the sample. And I didn't even know that there had been another song that had previously come out that also had a sample of mine in it. But I mean, no hard feelings or anything. But yeah, from there, we just like spoke heaps. We just became really good friends. And then from there, I started doing my first like LA trips and like doing production is like a thing, you know? So like I didn't even know what like producing for people was before then. I just kind of thought that people just made their own stuff. And then through this like cosmic accident, it was like, oh, I guess I'm producing for people now.
So you're turning up at songwriting sessions, sitting in with new artists. So what is that like for? And are we still in like 2014, 2015, or?
I think the first time I got in contact with Trevor would have been like, it probably would have been like 2017. A little bit of time had passed.
Okay.
And then I think off the back of that, like when the first song came out or the album came out, that's when it was like, oh, there's like, you want to have like meetings with publishers and blah, and everyone wants a piece of the bloody pie. And then through that, it was like, oh, we'll put you in sessions with people. And I'll be like, I don't know what that is, but cool, let's do it.
Yeah, sick. Was that daunting?
Extremely. And I sucked so bad at it. I was actually so against the idea of it for so long that I've grown to like love it more than anything. Yeah.
Why do you feel like you sucked at it? I mean, I don't know that I totally believe you did, but what?
I think a very big part of it was that I was like being put in the completely wrong rooms. I got so lucky with the Black situation, but the one downside of it is that it's like, it's R&B music and it's like hip hop adjacent stuff, which has historically like never been my thing. Not like in like a fuck that shit, but just like I don't really know how to like do it. I was being put in rooms with a lot of people like that, and it was just like not just different wavelengths completely. It took a long time to realize and like find my people in terms of just like dumb pop shit, you know, because this was like a totally different world at the time.
Were you at any point being like, oh shit, like, am I fucking this opportunity up? You know, in that you're not working with the people that you probably should be. Like, I think it's really nice to know that you eventually found the lane that worked for you. Do you know what I mean? And like, I can imagine it'd be kind of scary being like, I want to fucking do this. I want to be producing for artists, but like this isn't working, and I'm scared they're just going to kind of me to the side. Did that ever cross your mind?
Well, yeah, that was like a constant thought, like every single day. Like from the moment I got like a publishing deal, it was like, I am gonna fuck this up completely. Because I guess it's like at that point, I didn't know what to do with myself either. It was like, I hadn't really ever needed to like analyze what I'd be good at doing for other people. Like, I think for my own music, it's always been a lot easier because it's just like, oh, just make some like slow, sad shit and like whatever. But like, that's obviously not going to be for everyone. And so because of the Black situation, it was like, oh, well, you can do like R&B music because you have, you know, this like huge opportunity there. But I just like had no idea how to do it. And yeah, I really thought I was fucking up the situation. And I think nowadays, like if I could flash back like whatever, 9-10 years, whatever it is now, I would maybe be able to make a better go at it. But at the time I was really trying my hardest, but not succeeding.
Was there room for mentorship, or did you have someone good that you could talk to and say, hey, this doesn't quite feel right? Can you know, how did you end up on a track that worked better for you, do you think?
It's funny because it was just like, I think for like 5 of like the 9 years I've been producing for people, that time was me really struggling to find my footing in what I wanted to do. And I think it was really just a long, long trial and error of like finding the people I like. And I think also even to some degree, like even coming out and like transitioning and stuff, where I was like, I think there wasn't as much I had never really thought of my transition in terms of like having like correlating with the types of people who I'm working with. But I think as I work with more and more women, and I almost now like unintentionally exclusively work with women, it like clicks a lot better. And I think there was a real sense beforehand that I was like just sort of not making sense in any of these rooms, where pieces have like a combination of me getting better, finding the people I like, realizing the types of music I'm good at making for other people, and relating to them on more of a personal level has just sort of worked out.
That's lovely. Yeah,
but
cool.
Complete accident. Like,
right.
Yeah, there was no rhyme or reason or logic. It just sort of like has worked out quite nicely.
And we're all absolutely thrilled that it has, because it's so much great music has come out of it.
Thank you.
No worries. With your solo stuff nowadays, you're going under the name Perfectworld. This is more of that upfront, forward electronic music that you were sort of talking about before. When did you? Well, I guess we've already talked about when you started gravitating towards that kind of music. I wonder, do you have plans for this project, or is it just an outlet for stuff that doesn't end up on other people's records? How does the Perfectworld stuff get separated from all your clients?
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely have plans for it. Like, I think as an artist, I'm a complete failure. I can't do it. I'm not cut out for it. It is tough, and I sympathize deeply with anyone who wants to be an artist. But I think
so you don't feel like that's your primary sort of role
No,
still?
not at all. I think in my absolute heart of hearts, I enjoy making music for myself a bit more. But at this point in my life, I'm totally happy enough and content enough and fulfilled enough in helping facilitate other people's things. And I know realistically that doing things for myself is not, regardless of who I am, is not the best way to have stability in your life. And I think producing music for other people really allows me to have that, to be a slacker and just fart out beats and everyone's happy. But in my heart of hearts, I do still really want to make music for myself, and I'm going to keep doing the Perfectworld project. But already I can anticipate that it's probably going to be pretty sporadic, bits and pieces. But I mean, I have quite a few songs that are just ready to go right now. There's just because a lot of the new songs have feature artists on them. And there's just been dumb logistical things that come with that, but whatever. But yeah, it's happening. It's exciting,
etc.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. I really love what you have put out under that name. Big fan of that genre of music. I think that it feels like, I mean, in everything you do, I mean, there's a hyper EDM feel to a lot of it. There's, for lack of a better term, a hyper pop sort of influence I'm hearing, but certainly trance music comes in there and trance tropes. I wonder if you ever really listen to much trance music, or it's just something that you've kind of absorbed over the years.
It's crazy because it's trance music has been one of the big things that I always feel like I've missed out on, where it's I probably know and have obsessed over 10 trance songs in my entire life. And they have just embedded themselves in my DNA, but I don't know much about the culture and the history and the everything. But it is something I am almost always thinking about, which is very strange for a genre that I don't participate in at all.
Well, I mean, it is something it's a really influential genre that has seeped its way into so many other things.
Yeah,
as well,
totally.
Right? So I feel like you can just kind of absorb the tropes from it and use in your music.
I guess kind of similar to hyperpop.
Another project that you, and on the hyperpop stuff, you have the project Cookii. I don't know if that's something that you'll be coming back to. It's dormant for a while, I think.
Yeah. It's for the backstory of it, Cookii was a project between me and my ex, Rosie, and we dated for 10 years, and we had this project together. And we broke up 3-4 years ago now. And we are still best friends. We see each other all the time. There's no bad blood or anything. But I think through breaking up, it's just been harder to maintain the project. But at the same time, we still really want to do it. We really do have plans to do it. We just it's one of those things every time we see each other, we just talk about it. And it's oh, we have to do Cookii right now. What are we doing? But we just haven't. But we're both very curious what it would be when and if we would do that. More when than an if, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so, I mean, some of that stuff is so cool. Were you drawing from a particular hyperpop artists? And is it a dirty word, hyperpop? Am I miscategorizing the music? I think.
I mean, no, not at all. I mean, I think everyone is aware that hyperpop is pretty broad. It's more a vague set of boundaries. I don't know. But yeah, I would say it's hyperpop, and it's as far as artists that influenced the project, I think really early, the first Cara Cara Bonito album and Terra Jr. And I think we were really, especially initially, we wanted to do something very naive and stripped back and almost kind of childish in a way. like sort of like letting go of like the filter that we'd normally have when we make serious music, you know? And that was also why I was like an anonymous project for a while, because it was like, it didn't make sense that it was like us, because we make like sad, serious music. And this was like dumb and naive and stupid and like very like Taylor Swift inspired and stuff. So yeah.
Did that feel like a stepping stone to the stuff that you're now producing for other artists? I mean, you talk about your sad and serious chapter, right? But now, like, certainly that's not really much of what you're doing, I don't think.
No, not at all. I think Cookii was a big stepping stone in that regard. And I think like that.
Did that all align with, I mean, were you producing these kind of shiny, sort of exciting pop songs for other artists at the same time? I don't know the timeline exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was sporadically. It was like when I started doing Cookii, that was like the start of me like dipping my toes in that world. But I think similar to like with the R&B stuff, I wasn't good at it yet in terms of doing it for other people. I think it definitely did like I think like one of my biggest collaborators nowadays is like Kat and Calmell, and I love them so much. And like my first session with them was actually a Cookii session with them. So it was like there were definitely quite a few people who I work with now who had found me initially through Cookii. So it kind of gave like a little bit of a second life to my production career.
The Kat and Calmell stuff is so good.
Thank you.
No worries. I love it. You've so perfectly encapsulated a time and a vibe and an energy.
Fuck yeah.
As a crew, are you still working with those two? And is there more music coming?
Yeah, totally. I mean, like, there's nothing like specific coming out, but like we're still working on stuff all the time. I mean, it's a little bit of one of those unfortunate working relationships where it's like they live in Sydney, I live in Melbourne, so it's like we're always either having to do like trips or Zooms or whatever. But yeah, we are totally still working together and totally will put stuff out in the future, I'm sure, unless something insane happens.
With the Kat and Calmell stuff, I wonder if there was a blueprint or like a mood board or something, you know, like it hits a very specific time in music for me, you know, turn of 2010 or maybe 2008 kind of pop meets dance music at that time. How much of a blueprint was there in pulling those tracks together, or did it just occur that way? Were you listening to anything in particular? Was there a brief?
There was actually no brief, which is kind of funny because it's like, I feel like some people have like, are pretty quick to jump on like, oh, this is like some like indie sleaze, like bandwagon shit, which I mean is like fair criticism, obviously, but it was honestly,
it could also be seen as fair praise.
It could be seen as fair praise. No, but like when people just like throw around like, oh, industry plant, like, oh, everyone's doing indie sleaze now. But honestly, we were doing the seeds of this was before the stuff, because there wasn't really like a blueprint of it then. We had done Give Yourself to Me quite a few years ago, and that was like the first song that we did together that was put out. And literally that one song that came about from like a complete accident became the blueprint kind of for the whole project. It was like, whoa, like, because I think I hadn't really done stuff like that and they hadn't done anything like that. So for both of us, it was kind of just this like, you know, inspiring reawakening of like, what is this world? Like, so we weren't, I think the part of what made it so fun is because that we weren't basing it off of anything. I mean, like, obviously, I don't want to sound like I'm saying like I'm the biggest fucking genius to not take inspiration from other places. Like, I'm sure there was
I invented it all myself.
Yeah, like, I'm sure there were some unintentional inspirations, but yeah, I think we were really excited because we didn't know where it was really going to lead.
And you pulled at those threads after the first song was maybe, oh, maybe there's more here kind of thing.
Totally, yeah. It was really that one song that became the blueprint. It was like, let's just try and keep doing this song again because it slaps.
That's very cool. You also co-produced, again, staying on this pop forward stuff that you've been doing in the last few years. You co-produced and co-wrote the fantastic blusher track Rager. I have that correct, yes?
Yes, you do have that correct.
Good, excellent. That album seems to be a bit of a smorgasbord of interesting co-production and co-writing pairings pulled together by Warner Music. is my understanding. I want to get a little bit deep on this one, and can you comment on how a project like that gets pulled together? I mean, similarly, is there a blueprint? How does a team like super team like that get assembled, and how does a project like that come to fruition?
It wasn't like, again, like I'm not in Blusher, so I don't necessarily know what the internals of how this stuff is all organized works. But for me, it was very, very casual. I've known the girls for quite a while, and we've had sessions and other things that, and it was literally just like DM. Miranda just sent me a DM, just like, I have some free time. Do you want to write something? We wrote something, and then we put it out. I think things can seem much more in industry after the fact once, like, you can get like so close to the end of an idea, but then like more, and this isn't particular with Blusher, but like with any project, then like more people come on after the fact to like get things done and whatever. And then you can like look at the credits after the fact and be like, what the fuck? There's like 7-8 people on this song. But almost all the time, it's just something very casual like that.
Yeah, cool. Have you enjoyed being a part of the mechanisms of things like that? I mean, like, it seems like you get, well, I wouldn't say that there's much. You haven't produced like a full album for someone, for example, and often you get pulled in for 1 or 2 tracks here and there. Do you see a world where you might be helming an entire project for an artist, or is that not really something you're interested in?
No, I'm totally interested in it. I think it's like, also correction, I have produced a whole album. I
haven't done my research, apologies.
I did produce Smoke and Mirrors by Maisha, which was an album, but I understand what you mean. No,
Apologies.
I think it's like just more to do with like the ecosystem, you know. It's like most people in general, I think way fewer people are making albums. And I think the people who are typically are the types of artists who just do things on their own. I think there is something that, like, the type of artists to work with producers tend to be the type who aren't as album-centric for whatever reason. I don't know, at least in my experience, at least to some degree. So I'm definitely not against it by any means. I think it's usually just like a time and a resources and a how can you get the best bang for your buck type of thing. But yeah, I would love to do another album.
That's cool. You mean your first album, right?
Yeah.
What does a typical work week look like for you, Lucy? I find this super fascinating for someone who's producing all the time for different artists. Like, how do you split your time up? And is it, you know, sort of a steady 5-day a week block that you're working? Are some weeks really, really busy? Other weeks, what does it look like? When do you get up in the morning? What do you have for breakfast?
No breakfast. Lifelong thing. Don't know what that's about, but it almost always fluctuates like dramatically, and not even like for any particular reason. It's just happens. I think like if I were to like average everything out like a whole year, I'd probably say I probably have like 2 or 3 sessions a week, and in the time in between that, I just like work on songs that I started in sessions, because like, well, it's pretty rare to get something perfect immediately. So it's like, if anyone shows interest in like wanting to put out a song that we started, I'll keep working on it. I'll usually just like, after a session, I'll usually just like leave it until they express some interest. But then from that point, I'll like start working on it again. But yeah, and then obviously,
can I pull you up on that really quickly? Just because it interests me. So you go into a session, you work with someone, you part ways at the end of the session, and then if they take the MP3 home with them, and then if they come back to you maybe a week later, they're like, I'm really digging this. Then you might pick it up and continue working on it. Like, oh, there's a bite there. There's something here. We should keep working. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's also like, it was just like a time management thing that I learned over the years, because it's like, I think initially I would really want to try and perfect every idea I did. But it's also like, in being a producer, it kind of comes with the territory that like the vast majority of stuff that you do is not going to happen. And that's fine. Like, even if it's with people who you really like and you have really great ideas with, most of it is not going to be used regardless of if it's garbage or not. So it's like, yeah, if someone shows interest and is like, this is good, I'll keep working on it. But again, it's like usually like very overlapping timelines, because like often that'll be like 6 months later or like a year later or something, because it'll like, someone will go off and they might have that plan to put the song out, but I won't know about that plan until it's like getting closer or something.
Of course.
So I'm almost working on things that are brand new and quite old, stacked on top of one another. But yeah.
Totally makes sense. How do you find that sort of, I guess you're used to it now, right? Like you've been doing this a long time. Does it drive you crazy having stuff sitting with other parties, or is it totally fine? You seem very sort of at peace with it.
Yeah, it's so fine. I don't
It's
really
just work.
It's just work, and it's also just like, I don't know, like I don't claim to have all the answers or know how to write the best song or whatever. And even if I did, there's no reason, it's all subjective. So it's just like,
Yes.
there's a lot of stars that have to align in order for a song to come out. So it's like, you just have to roll with the punches. Like a lot of the time it's not going to happen. And that doesn't necessarily mean I suck or they suck or the song sucks or whatever. It's just like, that's how it is. Whatever.
That's cool. Do you have a favorite project or song that I know it's not fair to pick a favorite, but what's something that you're super proud of over the last 10 years that you've worked on or released yourself?
I mean, it sounds like BS because it just sounds like recency bias, but I actually genuinely love the new Cat and Calmell mixtape probably the most.
Cool.
I think it was like a big
smile washed over your face when they came up. I believe you.
I think me wearing the fucking Cat and Calmell shirt right now, I think it's like a real milestone for me in terms of like, because I think producing for other people, it's like their vision is the thing that is the most important, and not to say that it's better or worse than mine. It just is the thing that's most important. And I think this mixtape was the first time where me and somebody who I'm producing for vision totally align, where it was like, this is something that I really want to do and you really want to do it. So I think that has felt really, really special in comparison to everything else.
Totally makes sense. That's a lovely answer too. One of my favorite tracks, or one of my favorite things that you've worked on, is the song Think of You for Becca Hatch.
Hell yeah.
I remember the first time. I love that track. That's amazing. Talk me through how that song, if you can remember, how the production on that one came together. And don't give me a boring answer. I was sitting at my computer and I threw some beats together and then it was a beat and Becca Hatch liked it, the end. Make it more interesting than that, please.
I'll try. I mean,
okay, thank you.
It kind of was like that. It was kind of like that, with the exception that it was like, we were doing this it was me and Caleb Tentendo, Kian, Becca's partner, who's also an artist, and Becca. We were doing like a writing week in Castlemaine at like Kian's dad's place. And we were just like trying to churn out as like many ideas as humanly possible, like regardless of what they were like. And I mean, it's not that interesting, but that was just one of them. It was just, but I think we did immediately know that it was like, this is cool. Like,
cool. Well, I find that premise though quite interesting. Like, when you're trying to pump out as many good ideas as possible, what have you got, like a timer set, and it's like, right, we're going to work for an hour on something, and then whatever we've got, we'll put that to the side, we'll move to the next thing, and then at the end of the weekend or the week, we'll look at what came out. How does that work?
I mean, yeah, you kind of said it. I think it's like, usually like I think within a few hours, you can usually tell if something is going to be anything or not. Mm-hmm. And like, I feel like that usually like, you sort of just work it to the point of that, where it's like, probably I would guesstimate like 4 hours or something, like just a morning. And then you can kind of come to a conclusion whether this is total trash or like something. But yeah, I feel like I've done that in quite a lot of sessions. But yeah, I mean, sometimes they work better than others. But that one was a really fun song to make.
It sounds like fun. It is a fun song to listen to. But what does it feel like when I can't imagine having artists sitting in a room with me while I'm trying to make beats or whatever it may be?
Yeah.
And it not going well. Like obviously this is something that happens, like you just said, and it's obviously something you're used to.
Yeah.
Is it just something you get? It's just part of the way it is, and I just feel, the eyes were burning in the back of my neck.
Well, I think this is like where it really helps to like find your people, in terms of like, it's always going to be hard in first sessions, but like I've known Becca for quite a long time now. And like, I think after working with someone for quite a while, it becomes more acceptable to fail around them, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
But at the same time, I do think it has been like a slow learning experience in terms of like how I work in a session compared to how I would work normally. Because I think in sessions, it's much more like trick based. It's much more like rehearsed. It's like if I'm making music on my own, I will like experiment with a sound or make a sound for hours, just go on forever and ever and ever. But I think no matter the context, if I'm doing a session with somebody, it's always got to be down to like, this is a patch that I know will work. This is a way to chop something or affect something that I know for a fact is going to be something. Even if it doesn't work in context, even if the idea is bad, it's like, this is a tool that is tried and true. So I think, and then usually it'll be like after that base idea is maybe something, then the experimentation will start and I'll spend a million hours on my own in my cave, just, trying to make it interesting.
And so are the artists like jumping on the mic and putting some stuff down or offering insight, be like, cool.
Oh, totally.
So it's collaborative.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, I guess, again, it's like everyone is completely different. Like some people really have a hard time like writing vocals before there is like something substantial to work with. Some people will do it immediately. Sometimes it'll be worked around like a vocal. It's really just dependent on like, reading the room, like understanding what pace they're like happy to work at. And I think it's just like the artist or the producer, like no one wants to work in like an uncomfortable environment. So it's just like try to, as fast as you can, like gauge what's comfortable, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's maybe more so for newer people who you're working with, but I mean, even for people who you worked with a lot, it's like the comfort is key, at least for me. I can't do stuff when I'm not comfortable. That's terrifying.
Understandable. What are you working on at the moment that's exciting you?
I am...
Are you allowed to talk about it? Is it secret?
Oh, I don't even know if it's secret or not. To keep it nice and vague...
So tell me.
So keeping it nice and vague, I'm doing a score for a TV show. I don't know if I can say any more specifics than that, but it's cute and it's lighthearted and sweet and I genuinely like it. Not just as like a biased whatever. I'm genuinely very chuffed to be a part of this project.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I'm just doing...
Have you done much scoring in the past?
Yeah, as much as I can. I recently did like a song that'll be in like a Netflix show, and like I've done like publishing stuff in the past that was like... There was another really weird thing that happened in the start of my career where it was like, there was this guy from EMI who like reached out to me and it was like, oh, I like make music for this publishing house and like we pitched stuff to TV shows. Will you just make us songs? And I did. And those songs have like showed up in places. Like there've been times where I'm just like, where I've just been like watching like The Circle or something. And I just be like, this sounds familiar. And it was like,
that's sick. I love that.
Yeah. And there's been other times where it was like an electric car commercial and it's just like, because I don't even get notified about this stuff. It's just like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, right.
But I have done some...
You like sell them a piece of music. Sorry, I think we've got a bit of a delay. I'm sorry, Lucy.
No, yes, I'm fine.
You like sell them a piece of music and it goes into their library and then it can be used for whatever they...
Yeah, they like gave like a brief of like, okay, this is like, we're making like a future house album. It's got to have this, and this. And it's like you and like 5 other producers put together this album and then we like pitch the album out to like advertisers or whatever. But yeah, once it's done, I have no idea where it goes. So yeah, there's just been some random times where they've popped up and which is very fun, which I really enjoy. I hope I haven't seen the last of those songs.
Yeah, totally. I'm sorry. I feel like I sidetracked you there though. Like other exciting stuff that you're working on. Oh no, scoring. I want to know, like, was that a new, like when you first started scoring for TV and movies, was that a new skill you had to acquire? Was it a difficult learning curve?
I think it's been a slow burn that I really want to do more of. I have actually done music for a feature film, and that I won't say what it is because it was a really good learning experience. I don't think you'd even be able to find my involvement with it. But I've done like the odd like episode for a TV show and stuff like that. But I really want to do more of it. It's just such a completely different world where I just like kind of don't understand how to like enter that ecosystem. But I guess I'm trying to do it. We'll see where it goes.
It's cool. And anything else that's happening at the moment that you're really stoked about that you can talk about?
I feel like I'm always gonna forget stuff. Doing new stuff with Miss Kanina, doing new stuff with Darcy Haven, the goat, doing more stuff with Cat and Calmell, doing more stuff with people who are escaping me. But those are and just my own stuff. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Can we expect more Perfectworld soon?
Oh,
Something?
totally. Very soon. I think like it's literally like just these dumb little logistic things, and like because there's like a music video done, like the songs are done, it's like mastered, and
Cool.
it's literally just like sorting out this dumb shit, and then it'll be out.
Yeah.
So could be a month, could be a year, could be a month.
Well, we're all very excited for that. I would like to sort of tidy up this chat just by asking, what are you hoping to achieve as a producer or otherwise in the next 10 years? I know that's a long time frame, but what do you see yourself doing or venturing into?
I think the thing, sort of like the philosophy of my work ethic and how I live my life, is kind of that like I strive as little as possible, where like I think I work based on like survival and like just being able to keep like living this dream of making music. So it's really like about working as much or as little to just maintain my lazy ass. Where it's like if
I can't imagine you're lazy though. That's insane to think that you would think of yourself as lazy. The amount of work you do.
Yeah, but like I get up late, I stay up late. I don't know. I spend a lot of time doing nothing and fucking playing Overwatch and shit like that. So I think it's just doing, if I can just keep doing this, beautiful. I've had a lot of numerous close calls with having to get a real job, but so far we're all good. So as long as I can keep this up, brilliant. I couldn't ask for more.
I have to dig into that. I'm really intrigued. What does it look like when you're like, oh, maybe I need to get a quote unquote real job? What's happened?
Nothing really. I think it's like with the nature of this business, it's like I mentioned earlier, it's like a lot of the times like songs that come out will be things that happened like a year earlier. So you're kind of always having to work like 6 months to a year out. So it's like even if you have quite a bit of money in the bank, you can't really afford to take the pedal off the gas too much, because then a year from that time, you're going to be fucked. So there have been some times where it's been like, everything's all good. I'm loaded. Like, I'm going to chill for a month. And then it just all comes back to bite me next time. But I mean, I've just like struggled through it, and it's like, I don't know, I have a very fortunate, chill life. The fact that I can do this at all is like insane.
So cool. Yeah. Wow.
We love music.
Well, that's it. Yeah. I'm so stoked to hear that you've been able to build that life around production and around music, and that you're going to keep it going, and that you're putting such amazing music out there, either under the Perfectworld banner or producing other people's music. It's so lovely. And Lucy, it's been lovely to catch up with you again. 7 odd years since I last spoke to you. So thank you so much for coming on my podcast.
An absolute pleasure, and it has been so good to catch up with you. We have needed to do this much sooner, but yeah, hopefully it won't be another 7 years.
I'll hit you up next time I'm in Melbourne.
Fuck yeah.
Now, did I fucking tell you that was a amazing chat or what? Yes, I did. So good to catch up with you, Lucy. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, making pop bangers, and to chat with me. That was really nice. Hey, just another reminder at the back end here of the podcast to say you can always buy me a coffee. You can head to a link in my bio and fling me $5 for my next coffee. That'd be really, really good if you enjoy the podcast, if you enjoy the videos I make, or if you enjoy my music. And speaking of my music, you can check out my new single, which I think is called My Eyes Will Burn Through You, which is out right now on streaming services. Just type in null, My Eyes Will Burn Through You, and it will no doubt reveal itself to you. We'll be in touch. Don't worry. Yeah, there's plenty more where that came from. Have a wonderful week ahead. I love you. Farewell.